Ahoj všichni, já jsem Rodík a vítám vás opět u dalšího videa ze hry The Hunter Call of the Wild. Já mluvím moc rychle, takže vůbec nedává smysl, co říkám. To je fuk, v dnešním díle jdeme dokončit mise na této extrémně nudné mapě. Jmenuje se to tu Thea Varroa, mise mě tu vůbec nebaví, ale je potřeba to tu dokončit všude a všechno, takže jdeme plnit mise. V minulém díle jsem říkal, že budu začínat na tady tom baráčku a půjdu sem, což se stalo, takže jo, jdem tam. Od minulého dílu si nepamatuju, co se tu vlastně dělo, takže to bude takové zvláštní, ale vůbec ničemu to nevadí. Tak, co tu je? Co to je?
There's the box. 4 should do as long as you cover enough ground. Cutting edge Kiwi technology these. Self-resetting and all.
Co to je?
That looks like as good a spot as any. Should be simple to set up. Just install the mount and clip the trap body into place.
Čemu to je? Já si to nepamatuju. Co to má dělat?
You know what a track is? Evidence you're not alone out there. Humbling, eh? 2 down, 2 to go. The birds will thank you for this.
Já to nechápu. Co to je? Ono to svítí tady, ale já nevím, kam to mám dát. Ty mise jsou fakt nějaké rozbité. Já jsem přímo na tom místě, kde mě to vede a to tu nejde nikam plácnout.
That's all of them.
A kam to šlo? A
Top-notch
tady.
conservation work here, huh? One final thing. You can take down the 1080 warning sign. Any animals that haven't already kicked the bucket should have metabolized it by now, so it's safe to hunt in the area again.
Tak jo. Mám sundat nějakou ceduli. Promiň, pejsku, pravděpodobně umřeš.
Hold on just a second. Are you seeing what I'm seeing on the ground there?
Ne.
These tracks aren't particularly old, eh? I hadn't expected we'd be able to deter
To jsou moje
everyone,
stopy.
but it's not exactly an optimal time to go for a stroll in the bush. 1 second, Josh is ringing. Feel like checking out with their lead?
Aha, už jdu.
Right, sorry about that. Where are they taking you?
To je strašně zmatené, ty stopy. Oni vedou všude a přitom nikam. Doufám, že tu bude aspoň nějaké diamantové zvíře.
What's that over there?
Luk.
This looks like it's right out of Resplendent Sword. Surely they didn't. Oh, where? Poor thing looks like it's been torn to bits. Is that a handmade arrow? And to top it all off, there's heavy rain forecast. Perfect bloody timing. There's an outpost not far. Why don't you take shelter there and see if there's any more clues as to what we're dealing with here?
Tak jo. Tam doběhnu. Snad tu ty mise dneska stihnu. Nechci to tu vést na 3 díly.
Just as I suspected. Our props burglar. And it looks like they've made a spectacular exit. The stuff from the photograph. What's the appeal of this rubbish? Must have left in a real hurry. Can you put the signs back up at least?
Hotovo.
Yeah. I think that's as good as you're gonna get it looking.
Já nevím, co tu mám dělat. Co to má být?
Now we know where our pickup
Aha.
truck went. Glad to see the back of it. But look at me talking. You're so tough to death. Get inside and I'll fill you in on what Josh told me. Please
Jsem
tell
tu
me
z toho
that's not what I
zmatený.
think it is. It is. That's where our poor little dear ended up. It must smell vile. A literal bloody hack job. Someone's been making themselves at home. Right, so I had the nephew track down that license plate number, and our props burglar is none other than a local menace by the name of Gad Barden. He's got a whole social media empire under the moniker of Giraroz's Blessing. Blogs, YouTube, QuickMez, the works. With exclusive behind-the-scenes shots from on-location movie sets.
Hnedgram.
And guess what? He's Resplendent Sword mad. Got heaps of photos from all over the reserve up on here. His latest blog entry is quite something. Salutations, followers and friends, blah, blah. Have been out of contact, lost my way in the ever-shifting forests, foul supper left me ill some nights. 1080 poisoning. He's lucky to be alive, the muppet. Let me send you the link. Usually get Josh to help me out with this. There. Check your hunter, mate.
Dík.
Think he just hallucinated that terrifying creature? He certainly has an overactive imagination, I'll give him that. It's too far inland for a taniwha and not humanoid enough for a patupaerehe. Unless... Anyway, he's an absolute bloody idiot, but I'm glad he's alive. This could have gone so much worse, and it's my own stupid fault for allowing them to film here. I just hate seeing the place disrespected. It's not just the bush, it's my home. I grew up a stone's throw from here. No one's around anymore, but you're welcome to swing by the old house once the filming's wrapped up if you're still in the area. I'll send someone by to clean this up later. Let's get back on track.
No, tak jo. No, najednou že hezky.
I'm sure you've seen plenty of fancy castles on your travels, but I guarantee you they're nothing compared to where I'm taking you next. We're gonna do some hunting out by Stone Castle Valley, a limestone formation not far from here.
Tak jo, 2 kiláky. A nemám u toho chajdaloupku, musím mít pěšky. Tak co pak to tady máme? Pěkně divné místo.
Another mess. Our bigwigs couldn't resist this backdrop, and I can't say I blame them. Take a look around and see if you can clean it up yourself.
Proč je tu tolik věcí označených?
Gonna be tough to move, even if they're not the real thing.
Zelené plátno.
When you can't fake it with props, fake it with technology.
Aha, tu toho svítilo tak moc a už tu jsou jenom 2. Zajímavé. Tohle jsou pěkně děsivé věci.
How many of these fellas did they take with them? They've really spread themselves out. I don't think you'll be able to do much here. I'll get a crew to swing by later. Stone Castle wasn't epic enough. That's a first. I'm curious to see where this is leading, though. Can you keep going?
Mám jít po stopách filmových rekvizit. Perfektní. To jako někdo šel jen tak jako pohazoval věcičky. Kde je starý dům? Žádný nevidím. Co tu dělal buldozer? A jak to, že o tom správce přírodní rezervace neví, že se tu pohybuje buldozer? Si přece musí někdo všimnout, že se sem veze buldozer.
Can't believe it. You invite someone into your home and they do this to you. Just an obstacle to be cleared to them. What a mess this has been. Oh, left the letterbox. How kind of them.
Aha, je v tom dopis.
Elisa, do what you want with it. Yes, I mean that. It's got my name on it, but that's probably just some townie's idea of a funny prank. I have a reputation with them after all.
Ale já ten dopis můžu nějak přečíst.
Melanie Murphy, it must be. And this is my mother's handwriting. She's long gone. I had no idea they treated people like that. I was only a kid when she left. Lots happened since then, you know.
Byl to dopis od její mrtvé mámy.
Sorry, cat's got my tongue.
Nevím.
It's a lot to take in.
Co se děje?
Tell you what. How about I put the kettle on and give Melanie a call? See where we're at with each other. And you head off and get us some more footage?
Jasné. Jestli se jedná o lov, tak jdu.
I've already had a crew out at Stone Castle to clear up what was left, so I'd suggest starting there. Plenty of prime deer species in the area. Why don't you make that your focus?
Jdem ulovit jelena. Zase. 5. Nic moc. Tady je nějaký větší 6. Zkusím to projít kolem dokola, to jezero. Třeba narazím na něco pěkného. Prchají směrem ke mně. A to jsem mi ani nevyplašil. Ale to ti mě nezajímají. Já chci ty, co jsou dál. Šestka, a mě pěkně pár roží. 6. 5. 5. To je pěkně na nic. Kde jsou všichni dobří jeleni? No, tady. A mám ho. Stačilo jenom jít k neoznačenému jezeru. Sakra, možná jsem ho měl mít označené. Neumřel jsem nadarmo. No, dostal dobrý hit. Neumřu znovu, že ne? Neumřel jsem. Tady leží ten první, kterého jsem střelil. Sakra, ten je hezký.
Lovely specimen. You're really a natural at this, eh? So listen, I had a brief chat with Melanie, and she was open to talking more. Been 25 years, and it's gonna take more than a single phone call, but it's a start. We had to cut it off, though. She's got news. Big news. She saw some tracks not far from here when she came by to leave the letter a day or so ago, and she swears blind they were from a moose.
No jasně.
Are you ready to head out again, Ehor? Forget the marketing video. This just became a documentary. I've marked the location where Melanie saw the tracks on your hunter mate. 2 things. Keep that camera strapped to you and stay low. It wouldn't do to scare it now. We've come so close.
Tak jo, ale ještě si najdu toho druhého losa, jelena. Já ji neposlouchal, já jsem byl soustředěný na to, kde mám jelena. Ale myslím si, že jdu hledat losa, který tady nikde není, jenom tu svého stopy. Tak a druhá 7. Ten první byl hezčí, ale oba dva jsem trefil pěkně. Tak a hledáme stopy losa, které jsou tady.
Those are definitely moose prints and they're fresh. I'm pinching myself. Looks like a big one. A bull. One I saw was a cow. Must be his son. No records of any antlers in this area, but you don't exactly get many people out looking. Too remote. Keep one eye on the tracks, the other on your surroundings. I know, you know. Melanie used to drill that one into me. Can you imagine? They bundled 10 of them into crates and shipped them across the sea from Canada. Must have been terrifying. Most got shot. The others failed to adapt. This bloke we're stalking is probably all that's left of that line.
Stále mi tu ty mise nedávají smysl. Vám jo? Dejte mi vědět do komentářů, jestli tady tu ty mise dávají smysl. Protože jestli jo, tak jsem asi jediný, kterému smysl nedávají. To v Quattro Colinas to bylo něco úplně jiného. Tam to smysl dávalo, já jsem jenom nedával pozor. Ale při stříhání toho videa, tak mi tam vlastně celý ten příběh začal nějak docházet, což je docela zajímavé. Ale blbost, někdo si tu s váma zahrává, losy tady nejsou. Velký svítící keř.
Check that branch. Snapped and stripped. Deer don't browse like that, and certainly not that high up. Is that the end of them? Oh, I knew this was too good to be true. If he's lived this long in the reserve undetected, then he's not going to give himself up that easily. Right, Ehor. I think that's your work done here for now. I'll get Josh to set up more cameras around here so we can keep a close eye on things.
Tak jo.
In the meantime, I can't stop thinking about that letter. I might have been too harsh on people, or at least some people. So I wanted to ask you another favor. There's something in it for you this time, though.
No, tak povídej.
So here's the plan. I want to repay Melanie for telling me about the moose. I know I have every right to be angry with her for keeping that letter from me all this time, but frankly, it would do the both of us good to move on. And ironically enough, I think the best way for me to do that is to face up to my past. There's somewhere and something I've been avoiding for far too long. Those are hiking boots you're wearing, right? Good. We're going up into the mountains.
Ale ne. Co to byl za zvuk? Mám kousek od toho stan. Tam přejdu.
25 years ago, I was working as an assistant to our then warden and going out on hunting trips at the weekend with Melanie. We were close at the time. Mum had just left, you know. It was good for me to have someone like that in my life. But I didn't really get on with some of her mates from the chopper company. Hard blokes they were. Hard working and hard drinking. I found them kind of intimidating, truth be told. And the whole commercial hunting business seemed like one big laugh to them. Out on fancy toys playing shoot 'em up.
Co tu najednou dělá sedmička?
Alpine ops like a bloody action movie. Anyway, one day I was on duty and received a report of smoke sighted on the other side of the reserve. Melanie and her pilot mate, I won't name him, were heading out over that way anyway and suggested I join them. He had been out the night before. You could smell it on his breath. I wanted her to like me. They'd take the piss out of you if you complain too much. They'd call you a wuss or worse. So I got in. It was fine at first. The pilot was keeping it together and Melanie tried to reassure me that it was probably just some kid's campfire. But then it fogged up. He didn't know what to do, started swerving as if to get out of it. Next thing, we hit a bluff. I don't remember anything after that. Everyone survived. The pilot broke quite a few bones, but Melanie got off with just a few cuts and bruises, a lucky sucker. And the fire? False alarm. Anyway, the wreckage from that accident was never cleared, and I haven't been back since either. Too out of the way. But I'm certain there are still a few things worth salvaging up there.
Tak jo, takže jdu hledat vrak v vrtulníku. Asi. A kde je nějaké diamantové zvíře? A proč ty mise trvají tak dlouho? Už by mohly skončit. Zdar. Kritická pozice čeho? Ta věc už zdrhla. No tady. Nějaký roztomilý vrtulníček. Je velký jak moje zbraň.
If it had hit the ground at a slightly different angle, would have been goners. Take a look around, see if you can find anything.
Zbraň.
Bingo. That's exactly what I was hoping we'd run into. Melanie's old hunting rifle. I asked her if she wanted it back, but she said it'd make more sense for you to hold on to it.
No, dostal jsem zbraň.
Tooth to get up to much hunting these days. The poor dear. I'll have it patched up and sent to your weapon locker. Consider it a bonus for a job well done.
Dík.
There. That's mine. A gift from my mum, who got it as a gift from hers. Take one more quick look around before you head down, can you? Cheers. I've been missing it all this time. Can you drop that necklace off by the nearest outpost and we'll wrap things up? Josh will head over for it later. I told him he'll never drive my car again if he so much as looks at it the wrong way. I think we're sitting pretty when it comes to hunting footage for the film now. I'll send what we have over to the marketing team and leave the rest in their hands. Still, it's a shame that the moose thing didn't pan out. I've had more than my fair share of false starts over the years, so I knew it was never going to be easy. They're tricky like that. Something for the book at least, eh? Penultimate chapter. He yet lives. I'll be sure to let you know how the video is received anyway. Thanks again. And great job, Eho.
Tohle byl konec? Prosím, že to byl konec. Už jenom odnést tu blbost, já tam mám možná chajde loupku. Jo, mám.
You can just leave it on the desk inside there. There's usually a lot of tracks around here. Have a search. I hope Mum will be happy it's back in the family. Right, well I know you came here on holiday and...
Oh, lost.
Did you hear that? Could it really be? It's close. Sounds like just beyond the outpost. Turn that camera on again. We're not done here yet. Follow the call. It couldn't have gone far.
Varovné volání. Můžu ho zastřelit? Já bych ho chtěl zastřelit. Sice diamantového losa nepotřebuju, ale... No, diamant jako diamant. A já vůbec nevím, jestli tu jako je. Což pravděpodobně ne, ale kdo ví.
There. What a set of antlers to boot.
Takže ho mám pravděpodobně zastřelit. 4 nízká. To bude jenom gold. Ale má zvláštní barvu.
Of course. Old bloke wanted to give us some scenery to admire. Look, mate. I'm a park ranger first and foremost. So I've got to remind you of something. In this jurisdiction, moose are considered deer. And deer are pests. Even if I've got a personal soft spot for the poor thing, I can't fault you for wanting that trophy. If you decide not to harvest it, make sure to at least take a good photograph. That action cam's not up to much there. I'll let you make the call. Don't dither though. We know this one's wily.
Nežil nadarmo. Dostal krásný hit. Přímo srdce, anebo hlavu. Ale je nějak zvláštně zbarvený. Tak do tady té části jsem ty mise asi nikdy nesplnil, protože si nepamatuju, že tu ten los byl. Hezký, škoda, že to nebyla 10. Moka.
I can't fault you for that decision here, huh? Picture yourself bragging to your grandkids about how you harvested New Zealand's last moose. Antlers hanging proudly above the fireplace. You've got the proof. And I've got a story. Final chapter. Last of its kind. Or the spirited adventures of the stoic hunter and the elusive prey. Resplendent sword, eat your heart out. Speaking of which, this must be what spooked Barden, right? A creature from another world? Just like one of those, things from his movie? Quite the reaction, but then I guess he was still pretty munted. When I spoke to Melanie, she said that there's apparently been protests in town against the films that have been made here. Some of the Kiwi actors involved have cited poor working conditions, things like that. I have to say, I'm glad to see people rally around a common cause, even if I can't help but feel somewhat responsible for this whole debacle. But that's over and done with. The important thing is that we're changing tack, going all in on what this place needs. You know, they even invited me to an advanced screening of the film. I think I'll be not so politely declining. Well, that's that. As I was saying earlier, I know you originally came here to get away from it all. So why don't you take that time now and enjoy yourself? I'll be in touch again soon.
Ne, už se neozve. Tohle byl snad konec. Počkej, jak jako vyfotit losa? Je dostupná nová mise. Aha. Tak to tu ještě nekončí. Jdeme lovit. A co jiného než jelena? Jelení se mi tu loví fakt dobře. Ještě daňky bych tu chtěl jako lovit, ale u těch nemám objevené zóny. Oni tu prostě nejsou velcí jeleni. Šestka, jdu pro něho. Šestka, ten se tu z ničeho nic objevil. Už jsem ho trefil? Ani jednou. Já jsem trefil 2 samice. Jsem na sebe pyšný. A dokonce jsem ani nic netrefil dobře. Jdu to zkusit jinam. 7. 6. Vzadu nic. Nádhera. Krásný hit. Tak co jsi zač? Gold. Hezký. Já mám jít k nějakému majáku. Ale co je maják? Tohle? Můžu to zkusit. No jako maják to je. Ale teď jestli ten správný, já nevím, co to po mně chce ta hra. Já nevím. Já to zkusím restartovat tu hru. Přece mě to musí nějak navést. Jedna věc mi říká to, druhá to. Ona to chce jenom vyfotit? Ono mi to říká, že mám jít na lov. Ale lovit mi nejde. Teda když něco ulovím, tak to nic neudělá. Nazdar. Mám daňka. Takže vyfotit můžu zkusit. Nic. Zkusím to ze zhora. Já vůbec netuším, co to po mně chce. Protože text mi říká něco jiného, než mi říká úkol. A když něco ulovím, tak mi to nic nedá. Když něco vyfotím, tak mi to tež nic nedá.
There's nothing I love more than strapping a pack on and getting lost out there. So I'm glad you've had the chance to wind down and take it in after all that excitement earlier. Got a couple of updates for you. First and foremost, we released the promo film a few days ago. It's been wild. Phone's ringing off the hook kind of wild. In fact, we're almost fully booked for the autumn season already. I should be celebrating, but I've been sitting in my office, laser focused on how we're going to keep day tripper numbers down. We're not legally allowed to charge an entry fee, and quotas are hard to enforce, so maybe the solution is an outreach. Give those snot-nosed students a taste of the work we do here. Who knows? Might even make conservationists out of some of them. Anyway, the film's up, but we're still working on some final touches to the website. Oh, and the marketing team had a request. There's an old lighthouse by the coast that they'd like a few shots of. Can you head over there and I'll fill you in on everything else that's been happening? So, the bloke with the antlers, the firm we hired to do the promo film has gotten in touch with one of the big online networks, and they're up for the idea of turning your moose chase into a documentary. I'm still working on my book, but I'm thinking this could be a good accompaniment. You've seen the show, now get the details, straight from the moose's mouth. Oh, of course they want to use your footage, and maybe even get an interview. You keen? Give it a think.
Jo, jdu do toho. Už se konečně rozkecala. Že jí to trvalo.
That's why I like you, Eho. What you see is what you get. In other news, Josh convinced me to let him go to that advanced screening of Resplendent Sword. He loved it, the brat. But then he must have read the books cover to cover about 10 times. He said, get this. He said that it had a strong message about environmentalism and cooperation. You think the same people who left all those messes behind came up with that? Hypocritical rubbish. It has given him a newfound appreciation for the reserve, though. He's even expressed an interest in hunting for the first time in his entire life. I think it's as much your influence as anything, but he's not going to admit to that anytime soon.
Tady je ten maják.
The lighthouse is just up the path off the beach here.
Vidím.
Speaking of resplendent sword, the protests have continued and the demolition of the commune made it into the local papers. I actually received a lot of support, even from people I wouldn't have expected it from. It's been humbling. I'm not going to go out of my way to drop in on the town, especially now I'm so busy with the book, but it is nice to feel like you're part of a community again.
Ale nepadnul tu zatím žádný diamant.
Here's a good spot.
Ne, to je strašné místo.
Moody. Let's get one a little closer up too. This beach is where I saw that moose cow about 35 years ago. She was staring out at the sea, looked heaps lonely. It probably won't surprise you to learn that I was kind of a weird kid, introverted and a bit in my own world. There was something about her that connected with me then, and still does. No one's manned this place for decades. Bolted shut. Right, let's grab a close-up from around here. Perfect. I'll send these on right away.
Tak jo, a co teď? Tak jo.
It's been quite the adventure we've embarked on, eh? I can finally see a future for this place where we're not at the mercy of outside actors, and that's in no small part thanks to you. To preserve Te Awaroa's heritage and safeguard our unique biodiversity requires constant vigilance, but I think I'm up for the challenge. Wouldn't you agree, Eho?
Odkud mě to sakra zhodila? Ha? Proč tu mám myš? Divné. Ale vypadá to, že to je dokončené. Ten konec byl takový pěkně divný, ale tak to se dá dělat. Ale můžu to tu ukončit. Díl bude asi trošičku delší. Natáčím dost dlouho, takže díl bude delší, ale to snad nikomu nevadí. Což je divné to říkat na konci videa, ale to je jedno. Ale dneska to tady ukončím a v příštím díle začínáme na Rancho del Arroyo. No tak to je perfektní, to jsem měl radši déle zůstat tady. Tak co se dá dělat. Po Rancho del Arroyo přijde Mississippi a tam mám Mise rád, takže tam si to budu zase chvilku užívat. Ale jo, děkuji, že jste to sledovali. Jestli se vám video líbilo, klidně můžete dát like. Nebudu se zlobit za odběr a vidíme se u nějakého dalšího videa nebo streamu. Mějte se fajn.